They thought he'd be destroyed. They thought he'd crawl back. But the longer he stayed single, the more untouchable he became. There comes a time in every man's life when he must face himself in the mirror, not as a husband, not as a lover, not as someone's savior, but as a man stripped of every attachment. The world assumes that when a husband becomes single, he's weak. They think he's vulnerable, lonely, broken. But they're wrong. Because if that man is a Stoic, he doesn't fall apart. He falls into alignment. He doesn't run after people. He runs after purpose. He doesn't seek warmth in another's arms. He becomes his own fire. This is not the death of a man. It's the beginning of his transformation. 1. The death of dependency. In marriage, many men lose themselves without even realizing it. He gives and gives and gives. Time, effort, patience, emotion, dreams. He adapts, compromises, fights silently. And somewhere along the way, he forgets the man he used to be. But the moment he becomes single, when the relationship ends, when the ring is off, when the house is quiet and the phone stops buzzing, he doesn't panic. He listens. He listens to the silence and finds peace in it. The pain of solitude is temporary, but the power it gives lasts forever. 2. The rebirth begins. When a husband is alone again, the world expects him to rebound, to party, to date again, to replace what was lost. But a Stoic doesn't rebound. He rebuilds. He doesn't fill the void with distractions. He fills it with discipline. He doesn't run to women. He runs to the gym, to books, to his craft, to God, to silence. He isn't trying to move on. He's trying to move up. A Stoic man doesn't replace what he lost. He becomes what he lacked. 3. The power of solitude. Here's what most people will never understand. Solitude is not loneliness. It is sovereignty. Every day he's alone, he sharpens his mind. He learns how to sit with discomfort. He learns how to dominate his thoughts. He stops needing external approval. No more needing good morning texts. No more explaining his silence. No more begging to be understood. He finds clarity in being misunderstood. He finds strength in detachment. He doesn't over-explain. He outgrows. The man who walks alone becomes the one no one dares to control. 4. When he becomes dangerous. As months pass, something begins to shift. He no longer flinches when she texts. He no longer reacts when she flirts. He no longer fantasizes about closure. She doesn't control his emotions anymore. Because he's not reacting from a place of lack. He's acting from a place of power. Now, he walks with calmness. He speaks with purpose. He holds eye contact with fire behind it. People feel the change. Women sense it. Friends notice it. Even his past starts watching him in silence. A Stoic man doesn't glow up for revenge. He glows up for resurrection. 5. She regrets, but he doesn't return. The woman who left, or the one who lost interest, will eventually feel the echo. She'll scroll through his profile, wondering how he became colder, stronger, quieter. She'll remember the man who used to beg, who used to explain, who used to cry. But now, he's unreadable, unreachable, unshakable. She'll test him again, maybe subtly, a like, a message, a "Hey stranger." But the Stoic man doesn't go back to what broke him. He doesn't seek validation from the hands that dropped him. He smiles and keeps walking. Her regret is none of his business. His peace is no longer for negotiation. 6. The final form, unapologetically Stoic. After enough time alone, the Stoic man evolves. He's no longer tempted by surface-level affection. He's no longer reactive. He understands human behavior, especially manipulation, guilt, tactics, and emotional games. He doesn't try to convince anyone to stay. He simply becomes the kind of man who doesn't need convincing. He lives for his mission. He respects himself too much to chase. He doesn't try to make someone regret losing him. He becomes someone they can never replace. He doesn't fear rejection anymore, because he's already accepted himself fully. 7. His life without permission. He doesn't wait for someone to say, "I miss you." He doesn't ask, "Do you still love me?" He doesn't pray for closure. He creates his own closure with action. Every rep in the gym, every page he reads, every hour he invests in himself becomes a brick in the empire he's silently building. He doesn't prove people wrong. He proves himself right. And that is what makes him dangerous. A Stoic man alone is a man reborn. A man detached is a man ready for anything, needing no one. 8. Final Stoic Philosophy. Seneca once said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." A Stoic husband who becomes single again realizes this truth. He no longer wastes time chasing approval. He no longer fears being alone. He becomes deliberate with his days, his energy, and his emotions. He doesn't beg for love. He becomes love. And the silence that once hurt him now protects him. Stoic's path to power. So if you're a man who's lost someone, don't collapse. Don't chase. Don't explain. Just walk into your silence and use it as a weapon. Because every day you spend alone, you're not being forgotten. You're becoming unforgettable. Don't react emotionally. Respond stoically. And if this video reminded you of who you are, subscribe and become part of a brotherhood that grows stronger in silence.